My name is David, and my life took an unexpected turn when I moved to a new house, a house that stood alone, surrounded by desolation, far from the bustling city. The first night in my new abode was marked by a fierce storm. The rain battered against the windows, and the lightning illuminated the unfamiliar surroundings. Despite the tempestuous weather, I lay in bed, the weariness of the day lulling me into slumber. As I drifted into sleep, a sudden, eerie sound shattered the silence. It was as if a whispering wind had transformed into a chilling murmur that echoed through the house. My heart raced, and a sense of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. Summoning my courage, I rose from the warmth of my bed and ventured into the living room. The room was bathed in a soft glow, the television screen flickered to life on its own accord. My heart pounded as I watched a grainy video play, showcasing a figure I couldn't quite fathom. A woman, ethereal and translucent, dressed in a bridal gown, stood before me on the screen, a ghostly presence that seemed to beckon from beyond. My trembling hands reached for the remote, and I swiftly turned off the TV. The room fell into darkness once more, but the fear that had crept into my heart lingered. I returned to my bed, pulling the covers tightly around me, as if they could shield me from the inexplicable events of the night. Time passed in restless uncertainty, and just as I began to drift into a fitful sleep, I heard it, a soft, deliberate footfall. Panic surged within me, eclipsing all other emotions. I peered through the darkness, my eyes fixated on the living room door. The faint light that filtered in from outside revealed a figure, a girl, her bridal attire a stark contrast to the shadows that surrounded her. She held a single candle, its flickering flame casting eerie shadows across the walls. The scene before me was achingly familiar, like a cruel mirror of the video I had witnessed earlier. My breath caught in my throat as the girl turned, her eyes meeting mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. And then, she spoke, a voice that seemed to emanate from somewhere far beyond, a voice that echoed in the depths of my mind. "Get out of here," she implored, her words a chilling command that rooted me to the spot. Terror overcame me, and in my desperation, I stumbled backward, my legs entangled in the confines of my own fear. Darkness closed in around me, and the world spun as I lost consciousness. Morning light filtered through the windows, and I found myself lying on the cold, hard floor of the living room. Confusion and dread swirled within me as the events of the night flooded back. My heart raced, and I wasted no time. Fueled by a primal instinct to escape, I fled the haunted house. As I walked away, my steps were hurried and laden with a mixture of relief and apprehension. I glanced back at the forsaken house, its windows like empty eyes staring into the void. I knew, deep within me, that I would never return to that place, that I would forever carry the memory of that terrifying night, a reminder that some experiences are beyond the realm of explanation, and that the supernatural could bleed into our reality with startling clarity. So, I walked away, leaving the haunted house behind, my heart heavy with the weight of the inexplicable and the unknown. Upon my arrival at the remote vacation house, the setting sun painted the landscape with hues of orange and pink, casting an eerie glow over the surroundings. The house itself seemed to be nestled away from the warmth of the sun, shrouded in an inexplicable veil of mystery. A chill ran down my spine as I stepped inside, the heavy wooden door creaking ominously behind me. The interior was dimly lit, with antique furniture adding an air of nostalgia to the atmosphere. A sense of unease settled in the pit of my stomach, but I attributed it to the unfamiliar surroundings. After a hurried dinner, I decided to call it a night and retreated to the bedroom. As I settled into bed, the lamp on the bedside table began to sway gently, as if moved by an invisible hand. There was no window open, no draft in the room, yet the lamp danced back and forth, casting eerie shadows on the walls. A shiver coursed through me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. Fighting the rising panic, I left the bedroom and found myself in the living room, hoping the change of scenery would alleviate my fear. I settled into a chair, my thoughts a whirlwind of uncertainty. The exhaustion finally caught up with me, and I drifted into an uneasy sleep. I awoke with a start, the room shrouded in an eerie mist that seemed to seep through the walls. The air grew cold, and I could see my breath. My heart raced as I turned my gaze towards the center of the room, where an unnatural figure stood with its back to me. A sense of dread settled over me as I realized this was no ordinary presence. The figure remained unmoving, a silhouette in the fog. Every instinct screamed at me to flee, but fear rooted me to the spot. A nameless fear swelled within me as I strained to make out any details. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure dissolved into the mist. The room grew warmer, the fog receding as if it had never been. I was left alone in the silence, trembling and bewildered by the inexplicable events that had unfolded before me. The first light of dawn brought a glimmer of relief, and I wasted no time packing my belongings. As I drove away from that haunted house, a weight lifted from my chest. It wasn't until later that I learned the chilling truth. The house was known to be haunted by the spirit of a woman who had met a tragic end there many years ago. My vacation had turned into an encounter with the supernatural, a first-hand experience of the restless soul that lingered within the walls of that isolated house. I vowed never to return, and the memory of that haunted vacation would forever serve as a reminder that some mysteries are better left undisturbed. And some places are haunted not just by history, but by the unquiet spirits of the past.